worst part. The worst part is 90% of the people parked in the pits aren't even racing. It's just people's cars. Like, if you're going to be a spectator and they let you in the pits, do yourself a favor and do the racers a favor, and you don't need to park right next to the racetrack. Leave a spot for the racers that are actually coming for you to watch. You're going to watch. So I'm just slightly irritated the way people park. But I'm going to go through tech quick, and then I'm going right up to make a pass. I think it's going to be kind of a short night. So I'm actually 2 passes in so far, and I don't hate how the clutch is doing. It's a freaking zoo down here tonight. Like, it's a zoo. I mean, literally, we had a hard time even finding a place to park. But the bike is doing good. I got a weird oil pressure thing going on. I think I know what it is. I'm gonna have to kind of investigate that later. Motor sounds good, feels good. I made a timing adjustment and the little target air fuel adjustment. And I think the bike's been running low on timing and fat on fuel for quite a while, because all I did was add 2 degrees of timing to it, and I pulled my target from 4.3 to 4.5, and it picked up 10 miles an hour in the 8th. Unfortunately, it wheelied about 120 feet out from the hit. It just picked the front end up and carried it out about 120 feet or so. You could see the guy's helmet in the other lane. I was just kind of rolling past him on the back tire. Kind of fun. And then picked up the tire again in second gear on the 1-2 shift. When I finally came down, I picked it up again and carried it out a little bit. So it definitely made a little more power on that pass. I definitely had to I made a shock adjustment. Like, the track's really good tonight. And I was watching a video, and the back end's like slamming down pretty hard, and I think it's, again, bottoming the shock out, and then it's picking the front end up. So I made a small shock adjustment. We're going to try to slow down the compression, and I speed up the rebound like just 2 clicks. So we're gonna try to slow it down, and then I want to get it to start transitioning back out a little sooner. It was staying pretty much squatted the whole pass, which was kind of, I think, helping the wheelie situation. But yeah, I made those changes. I'm gonna go try one more pass. The clutch, like, I haven't had the pan off. I'm pulling the clutch cover and cooling it off with the fan and everything like I normally would. 60 foots haven't been great because I've been fighting this wheelie, so it's actually wheeling, I'm pretty sure, through the 60 or over the 60 foot cone. Yeah, so the clutch does feel consistent. Like, looking at the data, how it's grabbing the motor, the data looks really good actually. It's not doing a huge like jump and then a dip, like a spike, grab, bog, dip. The only dip is because I'm lifting while it's doing a wheelie, but I can see where the RPMs are. It's grabbing the motor and it's slowly kind of arcing off, which is, it's good to see. I don't know what it's wearing at right now, but like I said, it feels pretty consistent. We'll get one more pass. That'll be 3 on these fibers, and then tear everything apart tomorrow, I think. But for now, we'll go try to make one more run. So at this point, it's 2 days after that little test session on Thursday. It's Saturday. It's like afternoon on Saturday, actually. The test session that we were at, I keep saying test session. The test and tune night we were at was just extra freaking busy. I only got 2 passes. They ended up calling it for rain, which was like, it was minimal sprinkles. Like, it was hard to even tell it was doing anything, but apparently on the big end they were getting something on the track that they didn't like, and they weren't able to drag it and keep up with it. Our local track doesn't really have anything for like water control or track drying equipment, just a drag. I think they might have a little like mini jet dryer thing for like cleaning up messes and stuff, but nothing big. So our night got cut short after 2.5. Well, I think cut short. The number of passes I wanted to get got cut short by 1. We were in staging for 2.5 hours waiting for them to dry the track and figure out what they were going to do. We spent an hour and a half prepping it for 2 cars to run that didn't make full passes, so that was fun to watch. But I'm just bitter. The bike is still all together in one piece. I haven't touched it. I got it out of the trailer Thursday night when I got home, and only because it was supposed to rain again, go figure, and I didn't want to be unloading the thing in the rain the next day. So I got everything unloaded in the garage, and then I didn't touch anything on Friday after that. So now I'm going to get this thing broke down. We're going to get the oil pan off. We're going to get the clutch out of it. And we're going to start looking at some stuff. And we'll see how those 5 eBay clutch fibers I put in that clutch pack, how they held up. I'm going to say right now that as long as everything looks good in the oil pan and them fibers aren't totally smoked, I'm probably going to get more of them. Because I'm real happy with what I saw in the data log as far as how well it grabbed the motor out of the hole. And like, it was a nice clean, you know, like RPM graph launching the bike. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with what I felt. We'll see how it goes. The 2 passes I made, it was hard. The night was just, it was a zoo. Like, it was hard to film anything. It was so loud. They're playing music, which is all going to get cut out of the video if I try taking anything. It was hard to find a quiet spot to stand and talk. But yeah, the passes, first pass, it left really good. 60 foot was decent. I just got this habit of I rolled out of the throttle like anticipating a wheelie or something stupid. I rolled out real slow and then got back in it and made a pretty good pass. But the bike sounded like it was just kind of flat. Like it was making like, not like it was detonating, but like it just sounded kind of like maybe it was a little too rich. And maybe it was starting to like, you know, take out spark plugs kind of thing. Not that it was misfiring, it just was kind of flat. And if you look at the data log, you can see the RPMs were just not climbing real strong. And this is something that's kind of, it's done, especially like, you know, if the weather ain't great. So for the second pass, I added 2 degrees of timing and I brought my target air fuel, leaned it out just a touch. And goddamn, the second pass, the thing picked up the front tire. It carried it over the 60-foot cone, and it carried it out probably 200 feet. I did roll out of the throttle just a touch, and also saw where I could probably correct my my wheelie control parameters, so I won't have to do that. And I might not have needed to do it. It was just habit. I left full throttle. It picked the front end up and started carrying it, and I just kind of rolled out and steadied it. And it was still just carrying it nice and smooth. And I could see the guy in the other lane just kind of dropping back while I had the front tire up. It was kind of cool. He still made a good pass. I just happened to be a little quicker. But it picked up, even with the wheelie and not being at full throttle, it picked up 10 miles an hour in the 8th from the first pass. That's huge. That tells me that that bike probably wanted more timing to start with. So everything about that pass was clean and happy. The track was phenomenal. It was Sticky Thursday. Our next race is actually a prepped race, so I thought it'd be good to get some data on a good track. Other than my complete inability to ride like anything at all, remotely good, the bike did really well. And yeah, it was good to see where I could make adjustments on stuff. When all you do is no prep, you start to kind of lose, grasp of what a good track is like and where you can make adjustments. And one of the things I needed to definitely adjust for a good track was the shock. And I think it wheelied on the second pass like it did. It just, the ass end come down so fast, and the chassis took all the power, bottom of the shock, and it had no choice but to kind of pick the front tire up. It's the theory I'm going with anyways. And that was some changes I made for what would have been the third pass, and we didn't get to make it. But I totally went off on a tangent there. But we'll do a little recap or something at the end, maybe clarify it like in order here. This video is going to be really broken up and random. But for now, I'm going to get this thing broke down, and then as I see stuff or we start finding stuff, I'll pop back in and update you guys on what's going on. So I got the filter off. I haven't pulled it apart yet, so we're going to kind of explore this together. Doesn't look good. That's a lot of junk. So at this point in the video, you just saw me go through the oil filter, and what I saw wasn't good. I stopped short and basically said, and that's not good. Never ends. Yeah, basically it knocked another rod bearing out of it. Different rod this time. And bottom line is I'm doing this myself with used crap. So I got 4 passes out of that motor. Shitty part is we had a race this weekend and I'm not going to make it because I'm parting everything out. I already got most everything's on the bench. I've been boxing some stuff up here. I got a clutch and an oil pan set up, all getting ready to, that's all for sale. Some injectors. Everything's going away. For now, we'll get into that later, but for now I'm going to finish up. I got the clutch laid out on the lift right there, and I'm going to continue with the evaluation of the eBay clutch plates now, because there's 2 passes on them, so we can look at them and at least see, if these things are worth a shit or not, and then I can kind of pass that info on, and then we'll get into the rest of the bike situation. All right, this is the clutch laid out basically as I ran it into the track. So what I got going on here is, this is laid out. How did I do this? I gotta make sure I got it right here. See, I had 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 1. Okay. So this was the bottom of the clutch basket. This was outside towards the pressure plate. What I'm gonna do is, just for starters, I'm gonna get rid of the steels just to get them out of the way. Again, those weren't really all new when I put them in. I think I had 1 or 2 new ones, if I remember right, that I put in there. But we'll measure these up now, and we'll see how we compare to what we put them in at. Now the this one actually got spun around. So this was on the bottom of the bottom of the clutch basket. That one will only get worn on one side because it's against the basket, turning with the basket. So we'll see how it wore, but it's only going to really be half. But we'll see what we get. We're still at like 107, 108. So minimal to no wear on that. Next one in. Now this one should be worn on both sides. Right at 108. So in the 2 passes so far, I'm seeing we didn't really lose anything of a kind of measurable amount. Like I said, this whole deal is not real scientific, but I'm not seeing any wear on these things. I mean, they obviously are wearing, but 2 passes wasn't enough to get a measurable amount off it. I don't even see, like, between the fibers or the pads, I don't even see, material wiped off. And to be honest with you, this thing, at the hit, it felt better. Like, I don't know what these clutches are made of. It could be junk, and it could be in my head. I don't know. The clutch just felt really good. I was really happy with how smooth it felt. And my RPM trace on the data log, it was actually catching the motor real smooth and consistent, which I had struggled to get previously. I don't see a reason to not run these at this point. 106, 105. Yeah, maybe 2 passes wasn't enough to, really do anything to them. But if I can get 2 passes with next to no wear, that gets me 2 passes farther into an event, that I don't got to worry about it. So now I know for sure, 2 rounds, not a problem. I don't got to worry about the clutch. Next time out with whatever setup, 103. Yeah, I'm writing the numbers down, but it's kind of pointless because everything's measuring the same as when I put it in. Which kind of makes sense too, because I checked my, I got a measurement here, 500, where I checked from the hat to the first, the pressure plate. It's just a reference number, but that number wasn't moving in the 2 passes because I still pulled the clutch apart and cooled it down. I'm just, like I said, maybe 2 passes isn't enough to worry about anything, which is good. Yeah, see, there's nothing. So this whole thing was kind of pointless. Like, it was kind of fun to check and see, but I would have no problem putting these clutches. Well, I'd put this whole pack back in right now because there's not enough wear to justify an adjustment. I'll measure the overall stack now. We'll put this all back together like if it was in the bike. I'll measure my overall stack height. We'll see what we get. But just the fact that the motor wasn't full of, oops, I double dipped here. Just the fact that the motor wasn't full of clutch fiber material was a good sign that it didn't just instantly destroy them. The bike made a couple good rips. I mean, good mile an hour. The 60 foot's always been real good, low 120s. Get her in line here. Everything's a little bit messy. Come on. So even though I didn't really measure a noticeable amount off of each individual fiber, I did lose, looks like about 5 thou stack height overall. Yeah, because I think I put this thing in at 1 inch 505, which is fine. 1 inch 500 is my usual number. So that makes a little more sense than saying it didn't wear at all. So it was just a matter of, 5 thou over the entire stack. It's pretty minuscule. Or that would be pretty minuscule to find that on each individual fiber. That's less than a thou each fiber. So with my quick reference caliper, you wouldn't really see it. It's hard to see, half a thou, 3/10 on there. But the overall stack height, which is really how you should be checking stuff, you don't really measure individual fibers unless you're trying to get back to a dimension. But see, the overall stack height did change 5 thou in 2 passes. That's probably about normal. Pretty used to that, actually. But yeah, I'd have no problem going back to the old eBay, ordering up some more fibers, keep these on hand, and get you out of a pickle. So that's that. eBay fibers, run them. I don't see a problem. I'm gonna continue to probably stock up on them things. I like what I saw, and I like how the clutch felt, really. But yeah, onto this thing. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with the 1000 deal. Parting out all the motor stuff I got. Not selling any of the junk stuff, obviously, but got a bunch of random good stuff laying around. Just kind of gonna start offloading stuff as I get it apart and cleaned up. Try to recoup some money, and then yeah, we're gonna finally do the Busa motor swap. Excuse me. And I'm not gonna be like super grudge secret about it. I'll document and show. I'm not trying to keep that from anybody. It's just time to dig in and do it. And could I build a brand new 1000 motor from scratch, all brand new stuff, and put it in there and make it work? Yeah, probably. I've done it before. Like I said, when I first went turbo, I had a motor go 3 seasons. And then I started, you have an issue. I started getting cheap and starting to reuse used stuff. I kind of disproved a bunch of stuff and showed what you can do, also what you can't do. And yeah, it's been a fun experiment, but I really just want to try doing the Busa motor swap for nothing more than, I think the motors are they're more robust, a little more durable. But the big thing is I like having a project. And this bike has been in the same state for like 5 years at this point. It's time to do something different. And I'll never get rid of this chassis. So why not put a motor in it? Everybody's doing Busas. Why not do a Busa in that? I know I'm not the first one to do it, so it's not like I'm doing some cutting edge thing here. But I'm going to try to figure out my own way to do it, make it happen. And yeah, I think it's going to be a fun deal. I'm looking forward to I love doing like fabrication and making stuff work and fit and building things and making parts and whatever. So I'm excited to do that. It just, it's going to take a little while. So there'll be some stuff coming on the channel still for that swap. But it might be kind of sporadic as I get things. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be racing unless I pull off some kind of miracle. I think the racing might be done for the year. And that's kind of, I needed that to happen, honestly. That's the only way this was going to happen. I was constantly trying to make another event, make a race, make a race. So I was just slamming stuff together to make it work. I need to make myself not go racing and fix this thing right. And on that route of making it a whole new fun little project. So yeah, that's the plan for this thing. But for now, go buy some eBay clutches, try them out. Let me know what you think. See you in the next video.